Okay, guys, here we are. We're back again, podcast number, episode 15 of the NRRRL Gingy and Big Foxy Rap. So
What did you call it last week?
the same thing.
In my absence.
Well, if you were going to wait for me to get to that, I would have told you, but we actually called it the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was actually called... Actually, no, we didn't. Oh, look, mate, my memory, I'm getting old.
I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
Everyone was just telling me how bad it was without me there.
Okay. And he's right. Obviously, look, before we do get into it tonight, a big thank you to Mr. Jarrett, John Jarrett, last week for his standing appearance.
Do you know why I told you to ask him to come on?
Sorry?
Do you know why I told you to ask him to come on?
I don't know, but I can tell you something about it.
Because I knew he wouldn't take my spot.
Yeah,
I knew he'd be that bad.
On an announcement, look, as good as what John thought he was, we do say thank you as the podcasters for the NRRRL rap. John, great appearance, but it probably will be your last. So just putting it out there. I know he probably wants to come on again, and maybe we'll see how he goes over the next few weeks, whether we get him on during the final series. But it is what it is, and that's the end of that one. But let's jump, mate. How was it last week?
Sydney?
Yeah.
Sydney, isn't
How
it?
was study?
Too busy, full on with lectures.
Well,
Home to do all my assignments.
Yeah, I bet you it wasn't until you went to Sydney and you just said, full on with the lectures, and then you get home and you have to put up with other lectures.
Nah, it was pretty good when I got home, actually.
That's good. So, but mate, look, for the viewing audience, not just a podcaster, soon to be a school teacher,
We'll see
down
what
there
happens.
studying his butt off at university. Thank God them days are well and truly over for me. I'm never going back.
Hopefully I go the distance.
Well, mate, I hope you do, because I'll be honest with you, we do need more male teachers in the education system, not just from a teaching point of view, but, mate, I actually think there's another opportunity in the space for you as well. You could also be a coach.
You're an ideas man, aren't you?
You could be a coach at school, because we all know now schools participate in community footy. There's a number of competitions at both primary school and high school levels.
Get days out watching footy carnivals all day.
Well, mate, I know a whole bunch of other teachers that actually did nothing else but coach footy. Brian Batiste. There's a plug for you, Nobby. Great teacher, by the way, but a really good coach at a school level. Coached the Woodlawn College boys for a number of years. Very successful coaching at that level as well. I think both back in the days of the Commonwealth Bank Cup and not quite sure what they call it now, but also then coached the Australian schoolboys. So
Nice.
Coaching footy at school levels, it's amazing as well, because we all do know that there was a period of time there where school teachers and school rugby league coaches also went on to coach at NRL level. So I don't know what your aspirations are in that space.
Not that.
If I was a kid going to your class, I'd just be hoping that you can get me through the day. But that being said, mate, all the best with it.
Thanks, mate.
Hopefully, how many years to go?
5.
You're a newbie.
I'm a newbie. I just
There you
started.
go, mate. Well, going back to what you said earlier, I really do hope you survive
Yeah, me too.
and come out the other end of that and become a
Thanks,
school
mate.
teacher.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me on this show.
Primary school or high school?
Primary.
Primary school. I knew you wouldn't do the high school. You haven't got the tenacity to do high school kids. But anyway, jumping straight into it, mate. Look, it's great to have you back, big fella.
Good to be back.
It's good to have a real podcaster sitting next to me tonight.
Yeah.
Again, no disrespect to the one that was here last week, but I did miss you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew you would.
Yeah, did you miss me?
You don't like saying it, but I knew you would.
Did you miss me?
I did miss you.
Thank
I
you.
was 5 seconds away from just calling you and saying, just
We
Skype
did
me
offer
in.
the opportunity,
Skype me in.
our viewers, we did offer Les the opportunity last week to come in via Skype, but
I was
he
too
said
busy.
his comment to me was just before I have 6 assignments to do. And he was going to be up all night pretty much, and I hope he was up all night because, mate,
Netflix.
You kept me up all night by having Joan here. But anyway, let's get that's the last I'll say of last week's podcast. Mate, let's get in it straight away. You're up for a good night tonight. We want to keep it short and sharp tonight.
Yep.
Keep our viewers engaged.
Straight into it. Let's get
Straight
into the
it.
first segment.
We're going to get into the around
the
grounds. So let's get into it, mate. Let's get into last week's games.
All right, let's jump straight into it.
Before we start,
Yes.
last week's games, there was a lot hinging on every game of the competition last week. We're going to go through that game by game. We're not going to spend too much time going too in depth into it, but the scorelines are interesting.
Yep.
And I think it's made last week's round has made for a very interesting round going forward. But we'll talk about that as well.
All right,
so let's get into the games, mate.
Straight into it, mate. Let's go. Northern versus Mullumbimby.
Northern versus Mullum.
46-12.
Yeah,
Northern's way.
Mate, rusty first half.
Very rusty.
I on the day, I will say this, I wasn't still happy with our second half. But mate, I went home after that. I watched the game again, just the second half. And I actually made a phone call to my assistant coach and said to him, "What did you think?" And I thought he was going to say the same thing that I was thinking around. Rusty first half, wasn't happy with the second half. He actually said to me, "Did you watch the second half?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, I think we owe the boys an apology. Mate, our second half was actually pretty good. Look, Mullumbimby played baseball. They took a leaf out of the Pommies books. They threw caution to the wind. Second phase play was a big in for them on the day. They threw everything at us, chip chases.
Well, it was their last game, wasn't
offloads.
it? So they were playing like it was their last game as well. So.
Mate, interestingly, their Mad Monday, or Mad Silly Sunday, Mad Monday, I think it actually started before we played, because I think a few of those boys might have had one or two drinks before they played, because the way they played, they were very focused on Mad Monday, Silly Sunday, and all the other bits.
They had the bus there too.
Mate, but there was an interesting conversation, and I'm going to save the conversation that I had, this conversation for Goffy's Goss, with one of the Mullumbimby players, who actually was their halfback at the day. I think his name was Wade Kelly, who works for New South Wales Rugby League, but we'll get to that in the end. 46-12, mate.
46-12.
I'm going to take that win.
After
all the weekends off.
A quick good year for Mullumbimby. I reckon they done all right. They started the season good.
Yeah, they did, mate. They've had a good year. Look, the back end wasn't as great as they wanted. They finished.
Obviously, they have the bye.
Yeah, mate, they have the bye, so their season's literally over. But as I said, I'm going to go back to the northern bit, and I will say I'll have a beer on that one because I was just happy to get through the game.
Beautiful. All right, moving right along. Evans Head versus Ballina. Ballina run out 42-10 winners.
I think I call that. I actually said it would be.
We all called that.
I did say it was going to be a Ballina win. I did think it was going to be a little bit closer than what it was, but Ballina, mate, they were way too good.
Too good.
I'll tell you what, mate. I'm going to say this. They're going to finish the season in first spot. We all know that. Well deserved. But, mate, very good performance. Great young team. The challenge is out there. They've set the season alight.
Yep.
There was an interesting in.
Yeah?
Yeah, mate, I looked at their bench.
Oh, yeah?
Ali Grant.
Oh, he's back.
Was named on the bench.
Oh.
I didn't watch too much of the game other than the mini-game. I didn't see him really in the mini-game. But when I looked at the team list, Ali Grant, he's been out with an Achilles injury. And if he's back and fit,
that bolsters them, doesn't it?
That's a big in. That's a big in, mate.
Yeah.
But anyway,
keep an eye on that.
The way that's sort of worked out, we can talk about what that means for Evans Head going into this weekend when we get onto the next segment.
Yep.
So yeah, mate, score rounding out 42-10 to Ballina, and they, as I said, they've pretty much cemented first spot.
Yep.
There's no way they can be taken away from that.
Alrighty. Lower Clarence versus Kyogle. And the Lower Clarence Magpies run out winners 70-16.
Yeah, me and you had a bit of a debate before the podcast.
Yep.
You made a call, then you sort of backed
a few
that
weeks
call up
ago
by saying that they were going to make the 6.
Yep.
I said, well, results are going to determine that. We had a debate at the start of the podcast off air.
Yep.
I still debated that they wouldn't make it, but we can talk about
what's going to happen.
What's gonna happen
what we think is going to happen
after this week, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that at the back end. So
Good win,
17
Lower.
to 16. Look, at Lower, Kyogle definitely didn't travel, and I think they're playing for the wooden spoon at the moment with Casino. It'll be interesting to see what happens this weekend as a result, to see who finishes with that.
Yep.
But I think Kyogle, they've put the flag up and they've called it a day.
Agreed. All right, mate. Tweed Coast Raiders versus Mooloolaba. And this one was a tight, tough game, wasn't it?
I was there.
You were there?
Yeah, I was there, mate. To be totally honest.
Did you stick around and watch the first grade game?
To be totally honest, I didn't. I watched it up until probably about half time. The reason I left is I actually thought Mooloolaba was going to create an upset.
Yeah, well, they kicked off to a good start, didn't they?
They led that game for 80 minutes. They led that game for 70. So Tweed Coast.
Did Michael Gordon play for Tweed Coast?
No. I didn't see him. Was there a call that he was?
I heard a rumour that he was playing on the weekend, but I didn't get to have a look to see if he played
Mate,
or not.
Look, I mean, even if he did play, he hasn't played all year. It would have been his first game. If anyone's going to come back and make a difference at this stage of the season, don't get me wrong, I think he's a great player. He's had a great career. But, mate, the competition, you have to be playing week in, week out to make a difference in this comp at the moment. And I just think if that's where Tweed Coast have gone to, I think that's going to be to their detriment. But, mate, 30 to 26.
Tough game.
Got away with it.
High scoring.
Robbo keeps rolling along the season. We'll talk about where that's put them in the competition in a couple of more segments. But, 30 to 26, just got away with it. I did say Mooloolaba was going to be a team to make some upsets in the end. I thought this was going to be one. But Tweed Coast grinded it out and got the win in the end.
Beautiful. All right. Now, this one, mate, this was a nail-biter. I watched the highlights for this one on Bar TV. Coogin versus Balamble.
I watched the second half. I
Oh,
was
did
up
you?
there incognito. I was sitting in my car. No one knew I was there.
We are undercover bingy.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
With 6 minutes to go, I was quietly cheering.
You were quietly cheering, yeah, for Coogin?
For Coogin. Because they, with 6 minutes to go,
They
I
led that
actually
game for a
believe
long
they had
time,
the
didn't
game
they?
wrapped up.
Yep.
And a lapse in concentration and a lapse in defensive effort. The Balamble, one of the Balamble,
They went 80 metres, didn't they?
9, he's jumped out to the right side, stepped back in, went past the markers, and the 2 A defenders on either side of the ruck just basically were grabbing at jumpers straight through the middle, 30, 40 metre run, hit the winger. The winger nearly stumbled and fell over. The winger regathered himself, passed on the inside to a man unmarked who scored under the post. Young kid of Smallwood.
Beautiful.
Played halfback.
I saw that try. It was a good try.
Yeah, mate. And,
No Connor Zeeble for Coogin.
mate, I don't know.
I've seen him named in Tweed Seagulls Q Cup side last weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, mate. Look, Coogins, we're going to talk about it again down the track, but Coogins fighting for their survival this weekend.
Yep.
They've got another tough game this weekend, and we'll get to that very shortly.
Okay.
But
22-18, tough one.
22-18, mate. And as I said, up until the 6th minute, I can definitely tell you, I was cheering so hard on the inside, even though my wife was sitting next to me.
How come you were going for Coogin?
Well, it could have had a adverse result. It could have put us even with Balamble going into the last round, with more chance of Mooloolaba creating an upset, and we could have finished in second spot.
Oh, yeah. You put it that way.
There was a method to my inside cheering.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway.
All right, mate. Our final game of the round, Marsh Brothers versus Casino, and Marsh Brothers are too strong, 42.
What about Marsh Brothers' finish to the season?
Great finish to the season for
Mate,
Brothers.
Matt, the coach down there, would be jumping out of his skin at the moment going, bring on 2024.
Yeah, I reckon they finish really strong.
They're back into the season. Mate, I'm going to and I've said it last week, and I'll say it again today, young Willie Hammond's actually having a blinder back end of a season for Brothers.
Good to see.
It is good to see, mate. I think he, as we all know, he started the season with us. Then he went to Mullumbimby, and now he's finished. But he seems settled.
Yep.
He seems happy to be, in that role that creates a fair bit of leadership, dominant half, and he's taken control of that team. And on the back of that, mate, they've won some games. I think this could be their third on the trot.
Yeah. Mitchell Krause has been in
They're
great
going to finish.
form.
Just Mitchell Krause has been great all
Great
year, mate.
form.
I,
I'm hearing rumours that he's not playing next year. Mitchell Krause.
yeah, I'm hearing the same, and I don't know, but I'll tell you what, if he's not playing next year for Brothers, that's a big loss.
I think Brothers need to work hard to get him to have another year.
Yeah, they're going to have to put some, regardless of what happens, they're still going to have to put some players, they're still going to have to go out, they're going to have to get some more cattle to be competitive with the top teams.
But they're heading in the right
heading
direction.
in the right direction.
Yep.
Yeah. So great effort there by Marsh Brothers. I mean, Goffey'd be pretty happy. Although I don't know whether he supports Marsh Brothers. I think he jumps the fence with Northern and Brothers.
He's a deal.
He's an old Brothers boy. He's been a supporter, but deep down in his heart of whole hearts, he's a Northern boy through and through. So, look,
mate,
congratulations to Brothers.
Who beat the bye?
Mate, I couldn't tell you.
No,
Mullumbimby did. Well, they didn't.
That's this week. Mullumbimby beat the bye this week.
Yeah, so they'll beat the bye this week. But anyway, if you
Byron Bay.
Well, Byron, interesting. That bye has actually thrust Byron into the 6. We'll talk about that in a minute, but interesting. But they did beat the bye.
Yep.
I think they beat it really easy too.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that bye is going to affect them this week going into a tough game.
Yep.
Let's jump into segment 2, which is round 16.
Round 16. You're confusing me there.
Don't. It's just a sheet. Please don't read the numbers. So we're going into round 16, which is the last round, viewers, of the NRRRL regular season rounds. We're going to jump straight into the games coming up this week and look at each game, and then we're going to have a look at the end of that what that means for first grade's top 6. So we're going to jump straight into the first game on the agenda. Les, is the Bilambil v Murwillumbah at Bilambil.
Yeah, mate. I think Bilamble's going to win and win comfortably.
You think?
Yep.
I'm saying maybe an upset.
I knew you would.
Yep. It's not going to make a difference to the top 3, but maybe an upset.
No, but Murwillumbah's got something to play for last game of the year.
I think that's why I'm calling it. I think they nearly created an upset on the weekend v Tweed Coast, and I think they'll come to Bilambil this weekend with nothing else than to finish their season on a high note by defeating last year's premiers. Yeah. So Bilambil,
but I'm sticking.
If I was you guys, I'd be
with
making sure that you tick every box this week, because I think Murwillumbah are coming to create an upset at Bilambil.
All right. What's the next one, mate?
The next game is Ballina v Byron Bay at Ballina.
Mate,
I think Byron's season's on the line.
I think Byron's season's, I'm going to go out and say it, Byron's going to miss out on the 6. Ballina's going to put an end to that this weekend.
I think it'll be close. I think it'll be 2 massive forward packs tearing the hell out of each other. And if I was Ballina, I'd be thanking God that I've got the weekend off next week. But I think it is going to be. I actually think it's going to be closer than what you think.
I don't.
And I think that I'm not saying that it's going to be an upset, but I think Byron will be fighting with everything they've got in them, and they're going to go out and play a full. This, I'll tell you why. This could be a big deal.
Can't he 6 or 9?
6, mate. He's been 6 the last 2 weeks. But I'll tell you why I think it big deal. If this is all on the line for him, this could be his last. This is it. This could be his swan song, and I think he'd love to go out knowing that he's cemented his team a spot in the 6. If they do win, there's going to be a change to the 6 that you think is going to be the 6.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're going to lose and lose by 18.
Okay, I'm saying they're going to potentially create an upset, and if they lose, they'll lose by 6.
Okay.
Tweed Coast v Coogin, mate. Top 6 in the mix. What's going on? Who's Tweed Coast are on 18 points.
Tweed Coast
Coogins on
points.
16 points. Coogin potentially fighting for a spot to stay in the 6.
Yep.
Tweed Coast,
Same.
honestly, I think they need a win
Yep.
for momentum to go into the finals. If they lose, they could potentially finish 6th. But anyway, we'll get to that. I think
I'm tipping
Coogin by
Coogin.
20.
Yeah, I'm tipping Coogin close. 8.
I'm saying 10.
Okay.
I'm not saying 20. Sorry, guys. I'm saying 10. So there you go. You're saying Coogin by 8. I'm saying Coogin by 10.
Kyogle versus Brothers. What are you calling this one?
Mad Monday.
Mad Monday. The boys are on Mad Monday.
I think Brothers are going to win.
Yep. And win
And I think
comfortably.
win well.
Yep.
And I think Brothers are going to very much enjoy their Mad Monday.
Yep.
I think this is a Saturday game.
Saturday game.
I think it is a Saturday game. So Brothers can do Silly Sunday, Mad Monday, and then think about how they finish the season and what they can produce start of next season.
Beautiful.
But this is the Mad Monday game.
All right. Casino versus Lower.
Well, mate, this is interesting.
Lower's going to win, and they're going to win comfortably. By
Prediction.
40.
Prediction?
Lower by 40.
I'm saying by 10.
Okay. Hey, wait, where's it at?
Come on, Casino.
Casino. Is that Casino, actually?
Let's go the Cougs. But Lower will win.
Lower need to win and win comfortably to make the semi, so I'm going Lower.
Yeah, okay. Okay, then we get into the last game of the round.
I want to see Lower in the semis, that's what I keep saying.
Saturday.
Evans Head v Northern.
Evans are playing for their season. Pretty much the fait accompli is if they win, they're in the 6. If they lose, they're gone. That's it, done.
Yep.
So I think it'll be played.
So this is going to be played like a semi-final.
I'm just going to say this. It's going to depend. I think this game can be won and lost in the first 40 minutes by either side. I'm going to say
home game for Evans.
We've had a good week this week, training wise. I have no doubt Evans will be very
Fully
intense.
fit?
We are, yeah, definitely.
No one out?
No, we do.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But I'll leave that till the weekend.
Okay. You're not giving nothing?
No.
Okay.
Yep. I'm saying we're very healthy.
Clarence Kelly back?
I'm saying we're very healthy. And I'm saying that we'll be
suspension?
we will be. Yeah. He's been out for the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
So he's back this weekend. That being said, I still think it's going to be. An interesting game, but I still say what happens in the first 40 minutes will tell the tale of the last. So I'm saying that momentum is a wonderful thing, and we got a team that's come off a 46 point, or not a 46 point win, but a 46-12 win, and you've got a team that's come off a 42-10 loss. I'm not quite sure how healthy Evans are. But I would say if you want to see a good game of football this weekend with one team fighting to stay in the 6 and the other team pretty much cemented their spot, but still wanting to gain momentum going into the final series, get down to Evans Head on Saturday to watch the Evans and Northern game.
I reckon this is
weekend.
going to be a tough battle for 60 minutes, and then I think Northern's just going to prevail and do it comfortably.
Yeah, it could be the call, mate. But I can say that from a coaching perspective, we're going to make sure we leave no stone unturned this weekend because, as I said, I'm going to say momentum's a wonderful thing.
Beautiful. Mate, let's have a look at this ladder.
Yeah, let's go into it. What's your predictions, brother? Let's have a look at it.
Well, at the moment, we've got Ballina and Balamble sitting on top on 28 points.
Yep.
With Ballina leading with 4 and against, so they're safe.
Yep.
Northern United in 3rd spot on 26.
Safe.
They're safe. So that's the top 3.
Yep.
And then we get into the next...
I will just say, regardless of what I said about a possible upset with Moranbah,
yep.
Even if we do finish on, 28 points each,
yep.
Balamb will still have a better for and against. We'd have to score 1 trillion to beat. Oh well, not a trillion. Well, at least at 100.
And that's not possible.
That's not possible. And they'd have to get beat by 100. So. That's not going to happen.
Top 6.
The top 3 is
that's the top
cemented
3.
in.
Sorry, yeah.
And I would say that Northern's are going to be definitely playing the first weekend of the semis at home
Yep.
at Oaks Oval v whoever finishes sixth.
Yep, and we'll get into our prediction for those.
So at the moment, what's
So
the
that's
at
the top
moment?
three. So at the moment, in fourth spot, we've got Tweed Coast Raiders on 18.
Yep.
In fifth spot, we've got Byron Bay on 17.
Yep.
And then equal in sixth spot, we've got Evans,
Yep.
Coogin, and Lower.
So Evans are sitting on
For
points
and against
differential.
better.
For and against is better. So they're sitting in sixth at the moment.
Yep.
Coogin is sitting in seventh.
Coogin
And
sitting in
Lower is
seventh.
also fitting in seventh. So what I'm just going to throw caution to the wind. Let's do it. Let's just jump into it. What do you believe the top six will end up?
Okay, this is what I believe is going to happen for the top six. All right. Byron's gone.
Yep.
I think Ballina's going to put an end to them this weekend.
I agree.
Evans are gone. Northern's going to put an end to them this week.
Yep.
Top four. So this is how I think it's
six.
going to finish on for and against. So the top three we already know.
Yep.
I'm going to say Coogин's going to slip in the fourth spot with their for and against. And these three teams are all going to finish on the same amount of points, 18. So Coogin will have the better for and against. I reckon Lower's going to put a bit on Casino, so they'll finish fifth. And then Tweed Coast will round out the sixth.
This is going to be a first on the podcast, probably ever. I'm actually going to agree with you. I actually think that's going to be a six. The only difference, obviously, would be the game on Saturday, Northern v Evans. And should that occur, the reality in that is that would still be the six.
Yep.
The only difference would be Lower is out
And Evans is
and
in.
Evans is in.
Yeah. And then Evans will. I think Evans may have a better for and against than Coogin. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Evans have a better for and against than Coogin just. So that will come into it as well, depending what Coogin win by.
Yeah. Well, actually,
And Evans.
that actually won't be the six, because what I've just realised is that Tweed Coast's for and against, Lower's for and against is better than Tweed Coast's.
Yeah.
So that would mean Lower would finish sixth
That's true, yeah.
if Evans knocked us off, which...
Yes, Lower's for and against. So that
And I'm only putting that out there as in what the possibilities are.
Yep.
I am still going to stick to my guns and say I'm pretty confident that Northern will get a result this weekend in our favour. I know that there'll be a bit of conjecture. I know there's a lot of people from Evans that watch the podcast, and there's a lot of our mates that we have had a lot to do with that play down at Evans.
Yep.
That will probably be using my comments as motivation. Go for it. I'm still going to say what I said, and I'm still going to believe in what I believe in. I think we're going to get the result this weekend down at Evans, but if it doesn't, then obviously those factors come into play that I've just talked about, and I think that would mean Lower would finish sixth if Coogin beats Tweed Coast, and if not, if Tweed Coast beat Coogin, guess who's gone?
Who?
Coogin.
Coogин's gone.
And Evans would come back in at sixth, which means the game on the weekend would be replayed again, but up at Lismore. So interesting, isn't it?
Interesting.
So look, I think the biggest thing about all those teams in the top six, the top three, I would suggest is this, are very healthy in relation to injuries, suspensions, and all the rest. The lower part of the competition, I think I'm not quite sure about the health of those teams. Although Lower seem to have momentum at the moment. And as I said, momentum's a good thing. And I still think, and I'm going to go out on a limb, the premiers for this year will come out of the top three.
I'm agreeing.
Jeez, what are we doing?
I don't know.
Goffy, I actually can't believe this. We actually have
agreed.
agreed on a fair few things tonight when it comes to the top six. So
for those of you that missed the podcast when Harrow came on, the semi-final setup
Les
is
is
like
going
this.
to take everyone through how it works.
So 1 and 2 will have a week off, the first week of the semi-finals. 3 plays 6, and 3 will host the game. 4 plays 5, and 4th spot will host that game. The 2 losers are out after that. The 2 winners will play. And 1 and 2 will play. The winner out of that game, 1 and 2, will go straight in the grand final and host it. The loser will play the winner out of that other minus semi-final. Yeah?
Yep.
So that's how it works.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So while we're there, why don't we just go and have a quick look at the top 6 in the other grades?
Yep.
I don't think we're going to be making any predictions of who's going to finish where.
Yep.
But at the moment in the ladies' league tag, you've got Coogin out in front on 28 points, followed by Marsh Brothers on 27. Ballina on 25. Pretty close competition, this. Bellamble on 24 in 4th place. Then it drops down to Northern United in 5th place on 20 points. And Tweed Coast Raiders are currently sitting in 6th place on... Or Plath. Sorry, Goffey. That was a big mistake. But Tweed Coast are sitting in 6th place on 17 points. So realistically, that is the 6. There can be no changes to that 6.
So Evans can't sneak in.
The only change to that 6 is there is no changes.
Evans can't sneak in if they win this weekend?
Oh, yes, they can.
What's the for and against?
No, Tweed Coast Raiders are playing Coogin. So Tweed Coast Raiders will get beat this weekend in the ladies' league tag by the dominant Coogin. And you're right. If Evans win on the weekend, they could sneak in, but I can't see Evans beating Northern this weekend.
Okay.
So I would suggest that
They've
the
been
top
good lately.
6 is pretty...
Evans, they just went down to Ballina by 2 points last week in the ladies' league tag, but I think the for and against is a bit out there as well.
Yeah, that is.
So
Let's jump on.
I've got the reserve grade one here, mate.
Yeah, let's have a look at that, because the last one, we're going to speak about our favourite competition in a minute.
18s, yep. So
Let's
reserve grade. On top in reserve grade is Bellamble and Ballina equal on top there, with Bellamble better on for and against.
Yeah. How about this, though? Coogin beat Bellamble on the weekend.
Coogin beat Bellamble in reserve grade. There you
Convincingly.
go. Convincingly.
Yeah, so interesting. And it was a Coogin and Bellamble grand final last year too, remember, in reserve grade, and Coogin won that one. But yeah, so Bellamble on top.
Yep, Bellamble on top with Ballina and Bellamble for and against. So that's 1 and 2. Sitting in 3rd spot on 24 points is Mooloolaba. 4th spot, Coogin on 22. 5th spot, good to see, Byron Bay.
Yeah, mate, it is.
On 20. And 6th spot is Lower Clarence on 18 points.
Who do they play this weekend? Casino?
Casino.
So that's it. That's a 6.
That's the 6.
That 6 can't change.
Unless Marsh Brothers win.
They can't.
And Coogin and Lower lose, and Marsh Brothers win.
I can't see Lower getting beat by Casino, mate.
That's the only way that something could happen.
Casino's sitting in 8th spot.
Yep.
It might be competitive, but I can't see Lower being beaten this weekend, and I think that's the 6. The 6 in reserve grade is set. Right. The only thing, and even position-wise this weekend, I don't think will change either. I think that'll be the 6 the way it is.
All right.
18s, mate.
18s.
Let's look at that.
Take us through it.
Here we go. The dominant Tweed Seagulls, who play for Evans Head, sitting on 28, followed by Mooloolaba on also 28 points. Bellamble running 3rd on 23 points. Northern United sitting in 4th spot on 22 points. And Byron Bay, another good to see Byron in the 18s. I like the Byron 18s, actually, to be totally honest.
Yeah, I think
like
they're
that team.
good side.
I really do like that team. They're on 21 points in 5th spot, and in 18 points, Lower Clarence.
Ooh.
The Magpies on 18 points.
Well, that's an interesting last game.
Look at they play.
Casino.
Casino's pretty good under 18 side too.
Yeah, 18-16.
I'm going to call it. I'm going to say upset.
17. Upset, yes.
Casino at Casino.
Jump into 6.
Casino jump into the 6th spot. And I'm also saying that I'm also going to call another upset. Northern United's going to upset Tweed Seagulls this weekend down at Evans Head.
Okay.
And if that happens, Northern United will jump into 3rd spot. Potentially jump into 3rd spot. If they stay in 4th spot, they will play Byron Bay on a Saturday.
Tough game.
The worst case scenario is they get beat. They still can't drop any lower than 4th spot.
Yeah, if Byron win.
But the for and against.
Byron will
Byron
jump.
will go to 23. They'll be equal.
They'll be above Northern.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there you go. My maths is crap.
Yeah,
There
I
you go.
thought so.
So anyway, but the big thing in that is there is one change that can happen, and that's between Lower Clarence and Casino. So very good competition. The competition this year in the under-18s, Les.
Yes.
I mentioned that throughout the season. Again, congratulations to all those clubs that, worked really hard to make sure their under-18s are more than competitive. And also congratulations to the NRRRL for investing so much time and effort into that 18s competition, because I think, as I've always said, if the under-18s competition is a healthy competition, then your senior competition is just as healthy, and that's the way this competition has been this year. Right across the board.
And we've seen a lot of kids playing first grade this year, haven't we, from the 18s comp, which is a real
in every club.
which is a good sign of how the competition
It's very
goes.
healthy, mate. And as I said, hats off to the NRRRL management committee. Hats off to the clubs, as I said earlier, that have worked really hard to make sure the under-18s competition is a healthy competition. That in itself, mate, speaks highly for the NRRRL, and I've been raving about the NRRRL competition all year. Mate, I want to get on to the favourite part that me and you really enjoy, which is the women's competition, the women's tackle competition. Grand final weekend.
Grand final
Here we
weekend.
go. We're going to ramp it up. This weekend in the women's tackle competition, the grand final is between the Lower Clarence Magpies and the Northern United women's tackle team, who have, I think, to be totally honest, no one gave these girls a chance halfway through the season.
Yep.
No one gave them a chance in the semis. Tweed Coast were predicted to win that game and win it quite well. But, mate, I was at that game. The Northern United women played the best, I think, passage of football for 60 minutes. They started the game really well. They finished the game even stronger. But, mate, they were so dominant. Right across the board. They, very healthy team, a balance of experience, a balance of, youth in that team as well. They were led well, I think, by their captain and coach, Kari Williams, in the halves, supported well by a very young half in Savannah Robert Sickling. And, mate, their forward pack, I want to make a special mention of their forward pack. They've got a young girl, Talani, that comes off the bench and plays up front. She was brilliant. Claire Robert Sickling, mate, I thought she was the player of the match. And she was outstanding. Honestly, if there's a WNRL club that's out there looking for a quality middle, and I'm not saying this because she's a Northern girl, but I'm saying at the moment she's probably by far one of the most competitive middle forwards in the women's competition that I've seen throughout the year, and I actually think she's WNRL ready.
Were these games at the same field?
Yes.
So the Lower Casino game was there as well?
No. The Lower Casino game was played down at Lower as a feature game. I think it was played at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. And the Tweed Coast Raiders v Northern game was played up at Tweed Coast.
Okay.
It was actually played the game before A grade, and 26. I think it was a 26-6 win to Northern. And I think Lower Clarence won 16. Casino Girls put up a pretty good fight, to be totally honest. I know the score didn't indicate that. 16 nil. Lower end up running out winners. But this game, this grand final game, and how good's this from a Northern perspective as well? And I'm not. I'll get on to Lower in a minute. This is the first time that the Northern tackle team have played as a fully fledged tackle team in the NRRRL competition. They've made the grand final. Mate, how's this for a bit of history? If the Northern United Rugby League women's team win the grand final this weekend over the Lower Clarence Magpies, they will go down in the history books, not just from the NRRRL. They will actually go down as the first ever Northern United team to win a grand final. Major achievement. So, to those girls from the Northern Club, I'm going to say, as a club...
And who's it against?
Lower Clarence Magpies.
And who did Northern play in 2009?
Lower Clarence Magpies. Another piece of history.
Mm.
So, obviously, we all know the result back in 2009. Lower Clarence won 21-20.
Grant Brown goal.
Grant Brown missed that field goal, but he got away with it. But Northern United women have the chance to create their own piece of history and a club's piece of history. I just want to say they've gone through the competition unheralded. I know that, there's been times where, because of the way that the competition has structured this competition, those girls have had to play on different days at different venues, which obviously mean that they didn't get the proper...
see this game on.
It was hard to get the support numbers and the support group. But look, any Northern supporters, any Northern players in the men's grades and also our league tag, look, get over to Casino this weekend. It's being played in Casino as part of the Casino Lower Clarence fixtures. And any rugby league supporters in general that are not doing anything on a Sunday afternoon, get over and watch the women's tackle grand final to be played in Casino. I think it's going to be played the game before the A-grade game. So it'll be at 1:15 start. It will be an absolute bell ringer. If you can't get to the game, tune into it through Bar TV. Make sure you watch it. It will be an absolute bell ringer, as I just said. Both teams have had close encounters pretty much all year. I think it's going to be played with an intense atmosphere. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to do something that probably people think, well, he's going to do that just because he's a Northern bloke. But I'm actually going to say that the Northern United girls will create the biggest upset of this competition, and they will win and win convincingly over the Lower Clarence Magpies this weekend. Lower Clarence Magpies have led this competition from go to woe. They did get it. They've only had one defeat this year, which was two defeats.
Yeah, they lost.
They lost to Northern this year. So Northern have actually got it's 1-1. So as I said, I think this is going to be a feature game of the whole round 16. And I just think it's a game that everyone should be watching. And if you can't get to the game, as I said, watch it on Bar TV. To the Northern girls, as part of the Northern senior coaching staff and as part of the club, we're going to wish you all the best, girls. We know you're going to go out there and do the job for us this weekend. Get it done, and we're going to be there supporting you. All of our players, I've encouraged every player in the club to get there and support our girls, support staff, all of our volunteers. Look, let's just get over there and get behind our girls and give them every opportunity to go out as winners in the grand final this weekend.
Yep. And the same to the lower girls.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we wish you girls good luck as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be a great game, this one. They've had a bit of a tussle all year, so let's see. May the best team win.
What about this? Lower and Northern have got pretty much, I think they've got 4 grades playing finals football this year out of 5. What an effort.
Beautiful.
What an effort, mate. Lower could potentially have a team from first grade right through to the women's tackle. I think their reserve grade, we mentioned, they're still in the 6 and their under-18s are fighting fit as well. And so, it's a great achievement for both clubs, and I think it's good for the NRRRL.
Yep.
Let's get on to the other parts of our...
Goffy's Goss.
Goffy's Goss. What do we got on the Goffy's Goss? Anything from the Goffy?
Nothing from the Goffy this week.
You know what I think? I think he's playing it safe.
I think he is too.
Yeah. Well, it's not part of Goffy's Goss, but for me, I think, they're the unheralded people. It's not Goss, but these guys that week in, week out, Saturday, Sundays, put their family as second fiddle, get out and video every game. Credit to all those blokes that are out there as part of the Bar TV experience for the NRRRL. To Goffy and all your crew, mate, thank you for the year. I think you guys go through the season and no one says too much about you guys, but I want to throw the, thank you out there from the podcast. We want to say thank you from the clubs. We also want to say thank you from the NRRRL, mate. You do a great job week in, week out. Keep up the great work, guys. Your viewing it, your viewing audience definitely appreciate what you guys do behind the cameras. And I think that being said, we hope you'll see that same, audience picked up when we hopefully take it through to the Koori Knockout this year down at Tuggerah. Hopefully we see, the crew down there as well on Friday and Saturday, and also the commentary team as well. So, which we, so that's not, it's part of Goffy's Goss, but it's the unheralded part, which is a thank you to all those guys behind the cameras. And we do know the sacrifices you all make week in, week out to make sure that we put the games in people's lounge rooms.
Well said. Mate, I've dug up we've had some questions come in from the podcast. So I'm going to hit you with them. One of our
is this in the what? Is this in the shout out section? Because you see the new section we've got there.
Yeah,
shout outs and questions to the podcast.
Yeah, so we've actually had some questions sent in to our Gingy and Big Foxy Facebook page, which we love. Keep them coming,
mate. We got a bloke. The Kiwi from, I call him the Kiwi from the Goldie.
Oh, yep, nice.
The Kiwi from the Goldie.
All right, so he sent in a few questions, and I'm going to hit you with them.
I can't say that. I'm going to say this straight up to the viewing audience. I can't say that. I don't know the questions, so Les has just lumped them on me tonight. I can't say that my answers are going to be nice. I can't say that my answers are going to be accurate either. But I'll have a crack. Let's do it.
What club has
questions
the best
from the Kiwi.
canteen?
Sorry?
What club has the best canteen?
Northern United.
So I can't buy into this, but we've definitely got...
Goffy's going to answer this one.
Goffy's Goss says Northern United.
Yep.
Northern United, hands down.
There you go.
All right. Which team lifts the most when playing at home?
Mate, I'm going to say it's got, and I hate saying, I know this is going to be probably, I'm going to say Evans Head. Evans always seem to grow another leg down there. In those windy, blusty, bloody conditions. The other team that I think is in close comparison is the Ballina guys. Mate, the Ballina support, as a player, we both could vouch for that.
Hill, packed house.
Yeah, always have a good supporter base.
Yep.
They've got a good flurry of players that come through their junior systems, and those parents, they supporters of the club right through to when those kids play first grade. So Ballina and Evans Head, I'd say, would be the two clubs. But I will say this. I was at the Coogin game on the weekend. Those supporters on the far end of Coogin, mate, they're crazy.
I got one for you.
I know what you're going to say.
What about the Mullumbimby fans?
I'm just going to say to the Mullumbimby fans, and particularly to the Mullumbimby club, those kids that you've got straight behind the opposition's bench,
They love it.
they would be the most boisterous bunch of kids and annoying.
They
And
gave
you know
it to
what?
you, didn't they?
I've checked this out with other clubs. I've spoke to people at other clubs, and guess what they've said?
Exactly the same thing.
We hate going to Mullumbimby, and those kids just heckle you. And I'll tell you what, I tried to give as good as what I got, but guess what? I can't
You
beat
didn't
them.
match it.
I couldn't match them. So that would be the answer to that.
Okay. Which club has the most passionate fans? That's the one we just done. You just answer that in with
Bombers.
the other one.
I'm saying Bombers.
Bombers. All right.
They get that, you know what's that? Bombers. Oh, that annoys the hell out of me. Don't do it this weekend, please, guys. Hopefully I can shut
That'll
that
be
one down.
DC for sure. Okay. What was your favourite field to play at?
My favourite field, mate, it was interesting. Now that's got to come down to a couple of things. One of those is not just the ground and the conditions. The other thing that would probably make it one of my favourite fields is I used to love going to opposition grounds, playing the game as hard as I could, and sometimes coaching the games as hard as I could, and copping it from anyone, from all the fans, in all the clubs. But I'm going to have to go out on a limb here. One of my most favourite games, not just to play on, but to go to, was Ballina. The Ballina ground is, you never know what you're going to get. You'd turn up there and you'd leave Lismore, or you'd leave your hometown of Casino, or wherever you come from, even up the coast, and you go up and it'll be the most beautifulest day, sun out, all that sort of stuff. You get to Ballina's blowing a bloody gale. So you had to adjust. But the reason I liked it was a fast track. You know, even as a forward, you go to Casino. I used to hate playing in Casino, even when I was a player there. But the grass, and you'd sink into it, and it'd take you 3 weeks to recover. But Ballina would definitely be my favourite ground.
My favourite, by far, is Kyogle on a Saturday night.
I hated Kyogle on a Saturday night.
The atmosphere.
The question was, what was your favourite ground?
Yeah, it was Kyogle, Saturday night. Just the atmosphere. Playing out there.
Was that before?
Crowd giving it to you.
Was that if they put fire in the opposition?
Only if they put fire in the
to warm the water up.
To warm the water up, yeah.
Because I tell you,
I've
played over Kyogle on a few Saturday nights, and I can tell you straight up that there were times in teams that I played with where the wood wasn't put in, and the shower was absolutely freezing, and you couldn't have a shower, and it was particularly after a rainy day. You drive home, you'd be stinking full of mud, and I hated it.
I just used to think it was the best challenge at Kyogle on a Saturday night.
That was interesting. The Kiwi came out with some good ones.
Yeah.
Has he got any more?
Let's see if there was any more.
I got one.
I'd love to get the Kiwi on.
Yes,
You know what? Can we... Hey, listen,
one more.
Kiwi, if you... I'm talking about Kiwi from the Goldie. I know you watch the podcast every week. I'm going to put a shout out to you now. I'd like to invite you onto our podcast through Skype. If you want to make the trip down, come down, mate. We'd love to have you on in the room. But if not, can you contact us via our Facebook site?
Yep.
If you're up for it, we'd love to get you on next week going to the
Skype.
semi-finals.
Yeah.
So there's a challenge, Kiwi. We're putting it to you.
He's
Mate,
got one last one for you, mate.
what is it?
Club with the best uniform.
Northern,
Yeah,
by far.
I agree.
Every week's Nardoc week.
Yeah.
But Northern, I just think Northern come out with a variety of different...
Followed by Marsh Brothers.
Yeah. Plain Jane. Are you serious? Were you serious when you said that?
No, I wasn't serious.
Oh, thank God. No, look, I just think Northern do make an effort every year to come out with a different design, and we've got a whole foray of artists within our Bundjalung Nation that are always coming forward with absolutely brilliant... I mean, we had Uncle Diggs jumpers, you know. He's
World renowned.
Yeah, world renowned artist. You know, to the family, you know, thank you for, you know, the opportunity to allow us to do that last year and the years gone by. The Moran family. But then also this year we've had young Sheldon Harrington come on board with his design. Absolutely brilliant
Beautiful
designs.
designs.
So I think Northern do make an effort every year to come out, and I think sometimes we go away to play other clubs and they come out with this, holy shit, look at Northern's jumpers.
And I want to give a special mention to a few of the other clubs too that have come out with some different
Native
design
jumpers
jerseys
this
this year. Yeah, like
Byron
Byron, Tweed Coast.
Tweed Coast Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tweed Coast Raiders. Actually, I like Tweed Coast Raiders. I just don't like the colours.
Yep.
I'm not a
Don't
Raiders
like
fan.
the Raiders.
Yeah, so but they do come out with some really good designs. I think Bilambo made an effort as well. They have an Indigenous jumper.
They do too.
But I just don't like the Bilambo.
I think
colours.
Kudgeon wore a different jumper on the weekend. I didn't get a good look at it. Did you get a good look at it, Louis? Was that a different jumper?
I was in a car.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was just watching the scoreboard.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Thanks for those questions.
Thanks for those questions. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I think, you know, for us, you know, the Kiwi from the Goldie, mate, we want to get to know who you are. The fans want to know who you are. You contact us just about weekly on our Facebook site. So anyone else that's got any questions to the podcasters, mate, look, just throw it out to the Gingy and Foxy. We'll do our best to answer them. If we don't know the answer to the questions, we'll just go, don't know. So, mate,
Beautiful.
anything else from your end?
That's it. I think you're going to finish with a little Lismore knockout
Oh,
update.
yeah, sorry, I will.
Just
Sorry,
quickly.
there's just one thing I think.
Not too long on this one, mate.
Yeah, mate, well, not too long. Look, I think we covered the knockout last week. We covered it the week before. Just a bit of an update for all those viewing fans of our local area and the NRRRL. At this stage, we're up to, I think, 19 or 20 teams in the men's competition. Locked in, nomination paid, all ready to go, which is good. 22 is our cut-off. The cut-off for the knockout this year in both the women's and men's competition is the 15th, which is next week. I'm not quite sure what day the 15th is, but next week is the cut-off for nominations. Whatever teams we've got locked in will be the teams we take through, so we'll update people next week on what that is. Next Tuesday is our cut-off days, guys, so all those people out there wanting to put in teams from down at Yagle country, maybe over at Grafton, or anywhere else across the state, jump in to the Northern United. You can drop a Northern United Facebook site. You can contact us and get a nomination in. 22 is our cut-off, so we're probably up to two more spots, possibly three. I think at this stage we could probably comfortably say three, but we've got one team that we've got to work out. So 19 to 20 at this point of the season is pretty good.
Pay your money, you're in. 3. There's only 3 spots.
Yep.
So if you pay, get your spot.
By the 15th.
By the 15th. Unless it fills up.
The same for the women's competition. I think at this stage we've got 6 or 7 teams in there. We'd love to get to 12, but I think we'll get to 8 between now. I could probably go through some of those teams. You've got the Torrance Descendants have a couple of teams, Taberham Turtle Divers, the Stony Gully team, Cabotry Island men's team, the Muller Raiders, the Murray John Memorial, Cubboy Connection, the Victor Wright Eddie Vale Memorial team, Gambangi Yangai, which is John Jarrett's team, Julie's Rabbitohs, Inverell Roosters, Casino All Blacks, Lismore Wanderers, Newcastle All Blacks, Nanganbull Brothers, Steve Williams Memorial, GCM, Gordon Cope Memorial from out at Western New South Wales. And tonight we had another team come in, the Country Coastal Brothers. They're into the knockout now. So that's the teams we've got so far in the men's competition, which, as I said, around 19 or 20. We've got in the women's competition that Dungutty Badar. I may have got the pronunciation wrong. Cabotry Island Women's, Patsy Gordon Memorial, Nullingar Dubs United, Norma Collins Memorial or Shorty Memorial, and the Tweed Connections Stingrays.
Beautiful.
So that's what we've got so far. So that's a bit of a roundup. I know questions get asked all the time. Well, what's going on with the Lismore Knockout? So there you go. That's what it is.
The 15th. That's all you got.
To be played down at Oaks Oval in Lismore this year, 15th, 16th and 17th. The games will start a little bit earlier this year as well because we've got no light facilities post the flood. So games for both our women on the Friday will start a bit earlier, and so will our men's games on the Saturday and also on the Sunday.
Games starting on time, aren't they?
8:30 for the men's competition on the Saturday, first game. Knockout, straight out knockouts. There's no round robin. Although for our women, it'll probably be a straight out knockout as well, with the semi-finals being played on the Friday and the finalists going through to the Saturday with a challenge match on a Saturday in the under-15s, which I think at this stage could potentially be Cabotry Island under-15s versus Casino All Blacks under-15s.
Beautiful.
So there you go. There's a quick wrap-up of
Lismore
the Northern United Rugby League Lismore Knockout for 2023.
Beautiful. And that, my friend, sounds like it's an NRRRL wrap too. What do you reckon?
That would be it. So thank you to the audience. Thank you to the viewers. We'll be coming back to you next week with a very, very good podcast, which is the semi-final edition of the NRRRL Gingy and Foxy wrap next week. So stay tuned. Make sure you let your friends know. Log us into your Facebook. Jump onto our Facebook. Get us out there and watch the NRRRL Gingy and Big Foxy wrap.